Firestone Industrial Products is the world's #1 air spring for greater comfort and handling of your vehicle. Firestone has a long tradition of delivering high-quality air springs to the marketplace. Our Ride-Rite air springs provide an improved ride and safe load-carrying capabilities, and they're easy to install. For air springs that are technology-driven and performance-proven, make sure it's Firestone. Firestone has a full product line of Ride-Rite air helper springs and air accessory systems, including a family of controllers: single, dual, digital, and wireless. All Firestone air accessory systems come in easy-to-install kits, complete with all necessary tubing and fittings and detailed installation instructions. Thanks to Digital Air Command, you can change the performance of your air springs for varying loads and road conditions as easily as inflating a tire. You only need to push the up or down button on the Digital Air Command to set your air springs to the pressure you want. By having the correct pressure in your air springs, you can increase your vehicle's stability and braking effectiveness, improve steering and balance, prevent bottoming out, and reduce tire wear. In this program, we'll show you how to install your Ride-Rite Digital Air Command Kit. Prior to installation, be sure to review all the instructions that came with your Digital Air Command before installation. Before doing any work, remove the negative battery cable. For the installation, we will be using a no-drill plate kit sold separately to mount the compressor to the vehicle frame. First, install a male airline fitting into the threaded output port on the compressor head. Tighten this securely so it engages the orange thread sealant, but don't over-tighten the fitting. Attach the inlet filter to the compressor and hand tighten. Now, pre-assemble the valve block assembly. On the sides of the valve block, install the 3 male fittings. For now, just hand tighten the fittings. We'll tighten them securely later. Next, install the exhaust valve into the top of the valve block. Again, just hand tighten. Install the pressure sensor into the top of the valve block next to the exhaust valve. Once you have all the fittings attached, you can tighten them securely so they engage the thread sealant on the fittings. Now, mount the compressor to the no-drill plate with the 10-32 by 1 inch machine screws, 10-32 nylock nuts, and 3/16 washers supplied with the no-drill plate kit. Tighten all the nuts. Next, mount the valve block with the 10-32 by 1 1/2 inch machine screws and 10-32 nylock nuts. To complete the pre-assembly, mount the relay with a 10-32 by 3/4 inch machine screw and 10-32 nylock nut to the no-drill plate. Pick a location to mount the compressor assembly on the frame with ample airflow and protected from direct contact from airborne debris and moisture. Make sure the wire harness will reach from the compressor to where you'll put the digital gauge. Install the side brackets to the frame using the bail clamps provided with the no-drill kit. Just hand tighten the nuts for now. You'll tighten them completely once the compressor assembly is installed. Mount the compressor assembly to the side brackets using the nuts provided. Adjust the side brackets as needed to align the holes in the no-drill plate. Securely tighten the nuts on the no-drill brackets. Now you can install the wiring harness. To make the wiring harness connections between the wiring harness and the compressor assembly, refer to the wiring diagram in the Digital Air Command installation instructions. Once you've made all the connections, gather up the excess wire and secure it with the provided nylon ties. Pass the wire harness into the engine compartment. Route the harness to avoid any sharp edges or hot areas. Secure the wire harness to the vehicle with nylon ties. Connect the remaining red wire on the harness to a 12-volt, 20-amp positive power source at the battery terminal. Next, pass the wire harness through the firewall into the passenger compartment at a convenient location near where you want to mount the digital gauge. Mount the digital gauge panel on a flat surface in a dry, protected location using the Velcro tabs provided in the kit. If you would rather mount the gauge permanently, there are 632 mounting holes on the back of the gauge. Connect the black wire from the harness to a suitable ground. Next, connect the red wire to a 12-volt positive ignition-activated power source. Now, connect the 4-pin connector from the digital gauge to the matching wire harness connector. Gather up any excess wire length and use a nylon tie to secure it in a convenient out-of-the-way place in the dash area. Now you're ready to install the airline tubing. First, install a short length from the compressor to the valve block. Insert one end of the tubing into the male fitting on the compressor. Push the airline tubing into the fitting as far as possible. Cut to length using a tubing cutter. And insert the end into the fitting on the valve block. Next, install a section of tubing that will reach from the valve block to one of the air springs. Insert the tubing into the fitting on the valve block. Now, run the airline tubing so it will avoid direct heat from the exhaust pipe and any sharp edges. Cut the tubing to length using a tubing cutter. And install the end into the fitting on the air spring. Be sure to push the airline tubing into the fitting as far as possible. Secure the tubing to the vehicle frame with nylon ties. Next, route the airline tubing for the other air spring following the same steps. Now you're ready to test the system. First, reattach the negative battery cable and turn on the ignition. The digital gauge will illuminate. Now press and hold the up button until the gauge reads 70 psi to inflate the air springs. The system will inflate or deflate to the set pressure. The system will not inflate above 120 psi or deflate below 5 psi. If the system pressure is above or below these levels, the gauge will display a warning. Once the springs are inflated, check all the airline fittings for air leaks. Spray a solution of soap and water on the fittings. If a leak is present, you'll see expanding bubbles around the leaking area. If you find a leak, let the pressure out of the line before repairs. If the leak is at a tubing connection, check that you have a square cut and that the tube is fully inserted into the fitting. If you find a leak where the air fitting screws into the spring, just screw the fitting into the air spring until the leak stops. Reinstall the tubing, reinflate the air springs, and check for leaks like before. The digital gauge can display air spring pressure in PSI or bar. To change the display values from PSI to bar or bar to PSI, press and hold both the up and down buttons at the same time. In this program, you've seen how easy it is to install a Ride-Rite digital air command kit. Keep in mind that every step is described in detail in the installation guide that came with your Ride-Rite kit. We also provide a website with information on all of our products. So from time to time, visit Ride-Rite.com for up-to-date resources and contact information. That's all there is to installing your digital air command system. Now you're ready to carry your load in safety and comfort. Thanks to your Ride-Rite air springs. From Firestone, the world's #1 air spring.